Hello, folks. This is CERT Instructor Ron. Hey, I want to talk to you a little bit about something that quite often happens in the United States. It can happen anywhere due to any type of reason, and that's flooding. The reason I'm talking about that right now is I know that in some places down south we're getting ready to have hurricanes, and with that, well, there's a lot of flooding, but it can happen anywhere. Flash floods be caused from a lot of different things. But before we get into today's topic, do me a favor. Please like and subscribe and comment. Very important so that I keep bringing you guys these videos. Know that people are watching them. Okay, so when we talk about flames, like I said, there's many causes of it. It can be anything from a dam breaking, man-made, to nature. But what we want to talk about are the real dangers. Now, folks, I have worked floods, and they actually take more lives than anything out there. And there's a lot of reasons for that. One, a lot of people may not prepare, or a lot of people aren't aware of the real dangers that come with flooding. Here in Oklahoma, they recently passed a law that if they have a barricade up and you go around that barricade and go into a flooded area and they have to come and rescue you, you're going to pay for that operation. So I think that's a pretty good penalty. A lot of people might say it's harsh, but hey, you were told there was a barricade there. I've seen people more than once go around those barricades. My opinion, stupid thing to do. I don't care, no excuse for it, but people do it. Why? Because they don't think the water's that deep. Plenty of YouTube videos out there about people driving through water. I seen when a guy in a pickup drive right through a flooded area. You could see how high up on the sign the water was, and still the guy goes through it. Just, I don't know. Any case, but people are going to do it. So, kind of the rule of thumb, a couple of things. If you're in your vehicle, water's going to cross the road and it's deep, and you think that it's flooded, whether it's marked or not, don't risk it. It only takes about 2 foot of water, sometimes less, depends on the weight of your vehicle, to sweep you off the road of your vehicle. Now you have a problem. If you're on foot, get out of your vehicle. You don't think the water's that deep, maybe 6 inches deep, but if the water's moving swiftly, a lot of times there's going to be dirt and things that pile up, silt, whatever, leaves, whatever, underneath that water that you may or may not see. You step on it, you slip, bye bye, you go. So when we're talking about floods, it's very dangerous, even though a lot of people don't realize the dangers. They're dangerous. I have seen roads that have been undermined by floods. You drive across that road, particularly asphalt, that road could collapse, and next thing you know, you find yourself in a stream. So do yourself a favor. Don't drive into floods. Don't get out and walk. And if there's any type of current, I wouldn't advise it anyways because you may step into a hole. What goes through my mind is many years ago, I was fishing with an individual and we're walking through this part of the lake, and he stepped off into a deep part. Had a cowboy hat. Turned around and looked, and the only thing he saw was his hat floating on the tip of his fishing pole up. We all thought it was hysterical. The guy could swim, fortunately, but same thing could happen to you. Step into a hole, something you don't see. Next thing you know, you're in over your head. So just don't do it. Now, in your home, if you're facing flooding in your home, the one thing that you want to do, there's a few things that I would highly advise you to do, is if you know it's coming, turn off the electricity. Because, as you know, water's going to conduct electricity. Make sure everything's unplugged that you can. Turn it off. Move it out of the way. A lot of people, in my understanding, in basements, something happens down in the basement, their basement's flooded, they step off in the basement. Maybe there's an electrical outlet that's submerged in the water. You step into that, well, guess what? Welcome to electrocution. Those things happen. So the best thing that you can do in many cases, if you know an area of your home, let's say your basement's going to flood, turn off the electricity down there. Make sure that it's not going to affect you if you step into that water. I wouldn't do it anyways. I'd probably turn off the electricity throughout the house because you just never know. So anyways, these are some of the safety things that you want to do. Again, anything that goes through flood water, you don't know if it's going to be contaminated with chemicals or some sort of biological element like sewage or anything. Anytime there's a flood and they say boil the water and it's safe to drink, sorry folks, that's probably not true because you don't know what chemicals and other things are in there. So if you boil the water, you might kill what's there biologically, but any chemicals in the water, you're not going to remove them. So it's always best to have a really good purifier on hand. So that's my advice. Get you something like that. But again, folks, just stay safe. These are the things that happen during floods. People don't think about it. There's a lot of things that can go wrong during a flood that can affect you, whether it's water, electricity. Think about those things. Use a little bit of common sense. So if you think that you're going to be into a flood at your home, again, turn off that electricity, prepare everything, move things to higher ground, secure things like furniture outside. There's a lot of things you need to do. Make sure your car's in a good spot. I would highly advise if you think there's going to be a flood and it's going to be deep, put everything up, turn everything off, and get out of that area. And that's the best advice I got. Make sure you take care of pets. A lot of times people don't take care of their pets in these kind of situations. And so after a hurricane, for example, there's a lot of wild animals running around, dogs and things like that. I don't want to call them wild, but we'll just definitely say that they're going to be out there to eat and do whatever they need to do to survive. And it certainly creates a bad atmosphere. So, in any case, folks, that's my advice. If you're going to be facing flooding, just please take those precautions. Have your plan in place, know where you're going to go. Make sure you got water, food, all those things that you need, and make sure you keep them from being contaminated. That's my advice, and this is CERT Instructor Ron. Again, like, subscribe, and comment. Thank you. Disaster.